Good morning. Welcome to Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green, and we've got such a show today for you. I'm so honored to have as guests in studio today great kids doing great things. Today we're talking about a very important zip code. No, not 90210 Beverly Hills. We're talking about 01462. And that's the 01462 skate park, and that is what town?
Luneburg!
All right. So as you can all hear, we have a full studio today. In studio with me today are 5 8th graders from Luneburg Middle School, and they are Griffin Cayozzo, Chris Roy, Mason Whitcomb, Aiden Moore, and Aiden Swift, popular name. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
All right. So we're going to have everybody gets to answer the questions that they want to answer, and feel free to step up to the mic as you wish. So Luneburg, just for all our listeners that may have never been there or know where it's located, is a population of approximately 11,000. It's in northern Worcester County. It's near Fitchburg. It's in that Route 2 corridor. And I'm going to open each question, like I said, to anyone who wants to answer about this skate park, because this is such an incredible project. When I read the email, I said, this is a story that I think a lot of listeners and kids, parents of kids, are going to learn a lot today, because I know that I have. So you're also devoted to this project of constructing a skate park in your town. So whoever wants to start, let's say, Griffin, you'll start. How did you come up with the idea for the 01462 skate park in Luneburg?
So this idea came from the Genius Hour time we spent during school, which is where we got an hour a week to work on any project that we would like to. We toggled a few ideas that just didn't feel right, and then we finally settled on the skate park because we very frequently got asked to move out of like various locations around town.
Of where you skateboard?
Yeah, and it just started to get kind like to the point where it was kind of obnoxious. So we decided we'd find somewhere to skate legally.
Okay. So where was it illegal to skate? You can't skate down the road, right?
Technically,
Or on a
that is the
sidewalk?
only legal place to skate
Oh,
because
okay.
we aren't allowed to skateboard on school property or property where there aren't normally signs, but you aren't allowed to because it's loitering. But so the sidewalk is the only non-school property like place near us.
And that must be pretty difficult to kind of skateboard on a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Griffin, can you explain to me what the Genius Hour is?
So Genius Hour started from Google. They would let their employees work an hour or a day per week working on anything they would like to, and then have like at the end of the like certain time period they would give them, they would eventually have like a new product or idea to share with the company. And our school kind of like took that idea and gave it to the students, but instead of an hour, a day a week, it was an hour a week. And we used that time to create the skate park.
Okay. Chris Roy, what steps did you have to take to prove that you guys were serious about wanting to build a skate park and seeing this project through? Did you have to learn about school government or town government?
We had to go in front of multiple committees, such as the Parks Committee and the Board of Selectmen in our town. And we created a slide deck that we practiced for weeks and months until we nailed it down perfectly. And then when we presented it, they talked about it and they eventually gave us land to build our park at.
Oh, wow. So the city gave you land?
Yes, our town gave us land by the public library behind it next to a playground.
Do you think that's a good spot, being that it's in the middle of everything?
Yeah, it's very publicly located and everyone can get to it from after school. It's right near our school.
Okay, so that makes perfect sense. So Mason, what did you learn about the political process?
We learned a lot about, I personally believe that I learned about how formal it is. It's not like a meeting where everyone's just talking to each other. It's like if you're going to pass a motion, you have to make this huge statement. It's a very formal process. And so going into this, we didn't know that as much. And so we might have been confused or we were frustrated almost why we had to practice this so much why it was so important that we got this first impression down. But after we presented, I think we all very quickly realized that it was a very, very just you need to get the first impression in order to make a good impact on how they think of you.
So what was your number one message as to why that you used to say we really need this?
So as Griffin already said, it was going skating, which isn't normally a positive thing that people are they're not saying like, oh, skateboards, oh, that's a great thing that people do, because they're always thinking, oh, they're gonna hop a fence, spray something, and then go skate down our handrail or something. And so we really wanted to change their idea of how skateboarders are perceived. We really didn't want them to think that we're these thugs who just like destroying stuff and skating. And so we want this park so we can show them that skateboarders can be responsible, they can be productive, they don't have to just be destroying things and skating.
So it's interesting because I've heard that too, that people think skateboarders are punks. There's been an issue in Worcester where they came in and there was a unofficial skate park, and it's down by where they're going to build the stadium. And people came in, and this underground kind of group of people had turned it into a skate park. And they were all volunteers, and they had events there. And then it became, I guess it was an issue of trash and litter or whatever. The city came to say it wasn't a safe place, and they had to take it apart. So now they're in the process, the city of Worcester and a lot of adult skaters and people your age are looking for a place to skate in Worcester, because there is not, as far as I know right now, a good big legal park in Worcester. So they're going to have to go about probably doing the same thing. I know they're talking to city officials just like you did. Okay, so Aiden, were you nervous when you had to go do this? And did the elected officials ask you anything that was unexpected?
We were extremely nervous. We spent, as Mason already said, Chris, we spent a really long time practicing, but when we did it, it turned out that it wasn't that bad. We were just going up against 6 people who we thought were going to be a whole lot scarier than they really were.
They put their pants on one leg at a time, right?
Yeah.
Right. So how did they ask you questions? Did they ask for more detail? Were you able to give them the detail they needed? I mean, they gave you the land, so that's a plus.
Yeah. So we presented our slideshow, they had not too many questions, but there were an okay amount. We knew everything, though, and Mr. Caiozzo helped us along the way, and he also came up and answered some questions. So.
And we should say he's a parent liaison.
Yeah.
And he's, I guess, technically the president. Is this a nonprofit? Are you technically a nonprofit 501(c)(3)?
Yes, we are.
So did you have to learn about what it takes to get that become a nonprofit?
Yes. We had to fill out paperwork, and it took months or around that to get the paperwork back and then be verified as a nonprofit. So what do you think is the best thing right now that came out of just the initial meetings? Because we're going to get to the actual plan, but what do you think was the best thing? I mean, the city gave you the land. That was a big win, I would assume. Yeah. Obviously the land, like you said, we also got a lot of PR. We got the word out. Lots of people donated after that. And it also just boosted our confidence so that we knew that we could go up and do well in front of any audience that we really would like to.
And I bet that was part of what Genius Hour is about. I mean, the part of independent study and community service is being able to do public speaking. And that's going to only help you as you get older and move forward. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Aiden, number 2, question for you. I heard there was a survey that you developed. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we put a survey out. The teacher that did our Genius Hour or helped with our Genius Hour talked to the, I forget, but someone who would put the survey out to the whole town.
I think I saw the superintendent might have helped send it out. Yeah.
Yes. So she sent the whole survey out, and we actually got a pretty good response out of it. About 400 people per se
Responded, yeah.
responded to the survey, and only about 4 of those people, 1%, saw that was a negative response.
Wow. So you got a positive response out of it.
Yeah.
I think something that I saw that I thought was interesting, that there was a large majority of respondents, I think it was 70%, were over the age of 18. Did that surprise you?
It did. It really did. I'd expect most of the people to be around 13, 14 years of age.
But skateboarding really appeals to a wide range of people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's fun, but
Yeah.
not that I go out and do half pipes and everything else. But anyway, so in doing this research for this show, I'm going to ask Griffin this question. I came across a recent article from the Salem News, Salem, Massachusetts, titled "Salem Ends the Skateboarding Ban." And it was apparently a 45-year-old ban, and they did away with the ban in part by treating skateboarding as a form of transportation, which is interesting, like riding a bike. So there's always safety issues, and they talked about it being positive as far as exercise and staying away from smartphones. And we did bring this up earlier, but I think it's something that people don't think about skateboarding, because they almost think about skateboarding like gaming. They forget that it's actually, you're out there exercising, and you're spending, how much time would you spend in a skate park, let's say on a after school?
Anywhere from like an hour to like 3 hours. Like once you're there, time flies.
So it's just something you enjoy to do. It takes your mind off of things, right? And it's funny because it's ironic that, as Mason said, people, you often think skateboarders they think of as, kids that are punks and all this, when it's almost the exact opposite. And I think what you're showing by being here, and the reason that I think doing this show is so important, is that I'm hoping people who listen will think about the fact that this is an important way to get exercise and to stay off the electronics. And it's not all about graffiti and making a mess, and that you're trying to do this in a very orderly fashion. And it's a business project, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what have you learned from the teacher that's working with you at Genius Hour? What is one of the biggest takeaways so far? Something that you didn't expect to have happen?
So we actually moved away from the whole school. We didn't feel like it was enough time. We've actually spent much more time than school was able to give us. We spent easily a couple of months just working and perfecting this.
So you'd meet at someone's house?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So it's taken you a lot longer.
Yeah.
Than you thought it would. So what was the first step in the process? You had to put together the presentation. Did you have to put together a business plan? Because I know you're going to be looking for grant money. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what did it take to do that? You had to meet and sit down. Did you have parents help and teachers help how to put together an actual business plan?
Yeah. We had my dad help out a lot with the actual legal stuff and paperwork. And then once we were past the legal issues, it's just been fundraising.
Now, not to regress a little bit, but I want to go back to the health and exercise for a minute, because we were talking before the show about a bone of contention that it's not just for this sport, it's for bicycle, it's for motorcycle riding, everything. It's helmets and safety. What do you guys think about that? Because that's another thing I know parents, when they talk about building a skate park, and anyone can answer this, when you think about building a skate park, how important is it that you take these safety precautions? And when and if they open the skate park, are they going to be watching people to make sure that they, and if you don't wear helmets now, that's fine. I don't know that's a state law. I don't know. That I'm not sure about. But I know it is, motorcycles it is. But like bicycle skiing, it makes sense. It's not a law, but it makes sense. So what do you think about that, Mason, about the safety issues?
So, common sense first, right? When skating, you want to be safe. You want to be able to feel. So one of my ambitions in skating is to jump down this stair set that is in the back of our school by our track. It's a 4-stair, and it's a steep one, too. And so I've been...
So you want to jump up, just for our listeners, that means you're getting up on the board on top of the railing?
No, just jump down. Just going
down the steps.
Not that far yet.
Okay.
We're still relatively new to the skating scene. So when doing that, it's a scary thought, because it's mostly about fear versus whether or not you have the ability to. And so when you're wearing a helmet, you think, okay, so if I slip out and I hit my head, it's not going to kill me forever. But So
Let's hope.
Yeah. I believe in Massachusetts, it is a state law that you wear a helmet when skating, but whether or not you do, you should, because helmets, it's just a common sense thing. Like I already said, it's a thing that you should do. It's safe. And that's why that it's so important that we make that a clear rule at our skate park.
And that's excellent. And I heard earlier we were talking about the fact that there's going to most likely be signage.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And because another big issue, and it was in Worcester, is, they saw it as a loitering issue. I think someone brought that up already, that it can be a loitering issue. Can someone, and feel free, anyone can jump in, Aiden, Chris, anybody, about money. Let's talk money. So go ahead. So Aiden, how much money have you projected in doing all of this research and the business plan that it's going to cost to construct this park?
We believe it's going to cost about $400,000.
Wow.
We right now have we have $45,000, and we're talking to some companies to get in-kind donations.
Okay. So if it's going to take $400,000, you've raised about $45,000, and I'm hoping that people hear this. When you say in kind, what it means is like you have to come up with architectural drawings, and Chris will talk about that in a minute. And then you have to show that it's actually a viable project. It can work, right? But then what are some in-kind donations, that you need, that if somebody's listening right now, I know that you have a GoFundMe page, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the show, but you're raising money that way. How else? And the in-kind donations, and of course, I'm sure cash donations will help.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody wants to make a donation, where do they contact you? Is it through Facebook or through?
So if you want to donate, we have a GoFundMe site up at www.gofundme.com// Luneburg Skate Park.
Okay. But I mean, even if you Googled it, GoFundMe, Luneburg Skate Park, you're going to find it. All right. So about how much money have you raised on that so far?
So I believe we have $3,000 at the moment on there, but we kind of drifted away from the GoFundMe site for fundraising, and we're doing a lot of fundraisers and getting the cash in hand rather than online.
And it's not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you have politicians that need to raise money for campaigns, and they've been doing this for years, and it's knocking on doors and everything else. Have you guys found what have you found has been the most successful way to raise money?
So we've actually gotten a lot of donations from our festivals and fairs and stuff like that. And the most money we got was from a toll booth that we ran in the center of town.
Oh, what a good idea.
Yeah.
They had to stop?
Yeah, we had the people out on the road wearing vests and everything, collecting money from the people driving.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that got us a lot of money.
Yeah. And then I know you go to, like you said, festivals. They had the Johnny Appleseed Festival recently. And what are some projects? Do you have any idea of what's coming up? People might could catch you at events?
Yeah, we have something at a church in our town. We're running something there that will get us some money.
Okay. But the bottom line is the more money, the better. I mean, you're not where you need to be probably at this point to break ground in the spring. And I know this is not an easy topic you guys brought up. So, Chris, why don't you tell me a little bit about, we were talking about what goes into, you have to prove, you're going to the Tony Hawk Foundation, first of all, right? Which is a place that Tony Hawk is obviously, why don't you explain who he is for people that may not know?
Tony Hawk is one of the greatest skateboarders right now. He skateboards professionally and makes money while he skateboards.
And he's sponsored, and doesn't he make his own boards too? Yeah. So he runs a foundation, and he grants money, and I've seen it everywhere between $1,000 to $25,000 to different towns all over the country. And I think he's funded about $600 to date. It said on the foundation webpage. But surely there's a need for this. I mean, he's given money, I think it was $5,000 to the Salem, Massachusetts folks team that's working on, now that they've lifted their ban, working on putting together their skate park. There was a park up in Manchester, Vermont, very tiny town, that is looking to put a skate park up. So have you been talking to them and showing, are you going to have drawings to show them?
Yes, we have been talking to the Tony Hawk Foundation. They said that they're very interested in helping us out with our project.
Excellent.
And My father is actually working on designing a topographical map of the area we're designing the skate park at. We're building the skate park at.
Mhm.
And so he's going to show us what kind of we have to work with around the area.
Right, because there's a lot to it, especially when you use materials. I know there's been, and anybody can talk about this. When I was doing my research, because I'm not in any means an expert skateboarder, I can get on one. I think that's about it at this point. But when I watch, there's been a big shift in technology, like there has been in everything, on how they make a board and how they make the parks. Right, they used to use things like wood and things like that, and now they're saying absolutely not. It has to all be cement. Is that right?
Yes. There was a skate park that we had in our town. It was very hidden, and it was made out of wood, and it was weathered easily, so it was unskateable.
So it was unsafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Griffin, let me ask you this question. What do you have to do in your research with the Tony Hawk Foundation? Because that sounds like they could potentially give you a good chunk of money. What is it that you need to show them? What are they asking to see? What do you want people to know that the reason why you need this skate park so badly?
They just want to see that we're on track and like we're heading for completion. I think we are. Like we've been running a steady course. Yeah.
Okay. So you think that do you think if you don't have $400,000, is that going to impact the actual breaking ground? I mean, do you have to prove that you have all the money in hand before you can even put a shovel, that somebody can put a shovel in the ground?
We want to have around $200,000 in hand in cash and in-kind donations like set in place.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can break ground. But if we don't achieve that goal, we can either keep fundraising or look at a smaller park, which is not ideal. So.
And it's great that the city gave you the land. I mean, the town gave you the land in the first place. Mason, let me ask you this question. If you could talk to a foundation right now, what would you say? What would your pitch be that you're going to make to these foundations or anybody listening that may own a company that can help out or may want to donate? What would your message be to them?
So I feel as though a lot of adults in like their 40s and 50s right now.
Be careful.
But they've all had some sort of background in skateboarding. They've experienced it and they know how fun it is and they understand. And they understand that there's, again, the stereotype that goes along. And so building a skate park in Luneburg would allow that stereotype to almost disintegrate. And I know right now it already is almost kind of going away by itself. And so I think that this skate park is a great idea because all of the kids in this area, they have skate parks, but like 2 towns over. But really getting into the sport is a great thing because I know you've stated that it's like it's another source of physical exercise. And I think with all of the technology and electronics going around these days, it's just an amazing way for you to get out and do something.
And now, I think, wouldn't you agree that with the fact that, well, probably all your life they've had the X Games, but when I was growing up, they didn't, and I'm a skier, and the fact that I just get so juiced watching the skiing, so now they do the skateboarding on the X Games. I mean, do you think that the popularity of it, and I know in Worcester there's a giant, I went there to look at skateboards for my daughter when she was beginning, and I went to Eastern Border, which is a giant skateboard, but it's expensive. This is not a cheap sport.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, I bought like this starter board and it was probably like $80, which is still kind of expensive, right? Mm-hmm. And then I started like learning my first tricks and then I was like, okay, so I'm really going to get into this now. And so I think I spent on my first like real board probably $180.
Wow. But that's still cheaper than doing some other sports.
Oh yeah.
And if you play a sport in school, you always have to pay, most schools charge sports fees anyway.
Yeah.
So again, this is something you can do on your own time for fun, and you can make the argument that, hey, if we weren't doing this, what else would we be doing? Yep. Some kids might be walking around town, loitering, going to the store, playing video games all the time, which is, video games aren't bad, but if you play them too much, you're not getting outside and you're losing some of this thing. So do you think if you don't break ground by the spring, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, right? Because you guys have 4 years of high school. You've got this year and then 4 years of high school, and I'm sure you can get other kids involved, right?
Of course. We already have 5 high schoolers working with us, and there's absolutely it's going to happen that we're probably going to get way more people on board. And the best kind of support is people who physically want to go out and do stuff with us. They want to help us get more money instead of just giving us $5.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great thing. And again, the reason I do this show is because, well, there's many reasons. My personal reason, because I do many, many topics. And personally, when I saw this, I thought, okay, they took the time in school to do this project. They could have picked any subject in the world. And this is not an easy subject. It's not like, oh, I'm going to spend an hour because I want to go do this plan to give money, to raise money for X cause, a great cause, let's say. But there's already an order to it. Like, I'm going to raise money and do a relay for life, or I'm going to do a camp. This is something that never existed. Now, anyone can answer this question, but have you looked at, I know Fitchburg, like we talked about, is near you, and they have a really big skate park. Have you talked to other towns to see what they do right, or have you been in talks with other folks?
We have talked to many other towns. We personally talked to the woman at Pepperell who is like kind of managing the skate park, and we also have researched many other. When we put together the slideshow, we researched many skate parks to compare them to what we would like to have, and yeah, we just have been trying to figure out what designs would work best and what we kind of want to base our skate park off of.
So for $400,000, what are you planning to have set up?
So we have one company that we really like, and the type of skate park is kind of like a plaza style. So there's going to be something in the middle where you can go and just do flat ground tricks, but then there's also going to be stairs, rails, and drop-in spots, which is like a straight up and down ramp. And we are hoping that's our ideal build. We also have some others that we are looking at. We have one other that we could use, but we would really like to have the plaza-style park.
Okay. So is that similar to what they have, what you've been talking to in Pepperell, and is that a similar thing?
Pepperell, I wouldn't say is a plaza-style park, but it's like it has good flow. Like, you can go around the park and circle around it for hours if you really wanted. We want it to be bigger than that, but that was a really good motivator and like something that we could go to skate and like see how much we liked it and if we wanted this in Luneburg or not.
Okay. Is there anything I haven't asked that you never get asked that you really wish you could explain to somebody that just doesn't get it? Anybody? Step up to the mic. No question, no answer to that one. That's okay.
I think we've been asked like everything that we've really thought of.
So you've been well prepared.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys each a chance. Pretend that you're pitching me for money. Okay, because we have a listening audience and we have 1 minute. So everybody give their quick 20-second elevator pitch of why we need the 01462 skate park. Go.
We would love to have a skate park in Luneburg because we need to have somewhere where kids can go to safely skate and not get in trouble in the town.
And you're going to work till you get it, right, guys?
Yeah.
Anybody like to add anything else? We have about a minute left. No. All right. Oh, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Christopher Roy. I was wondering if you would like to help us make a skate park in Luneburg by donating. We need a place for children to skate.
Yep. So that's a good pitch. So we've run out of time. So anybody listening, they have a GoFundMe page. You can go to their Facebook page, which I have, and I have liked their Facebook page. And it's 01462 Skate Park. We really want to help. These guys have spent many, many hours trying to put this plan together. And it's a smart, dedicated group of 8th graders. And I wish you guys the best of luck. And given that we often hear these negative stories about people and kids, yours is a positive story. So anyone listening who can help, feel free to do so. I'm going to keep tabs on your progress. And that's it for today. That's Community Conversations. I'm Vicki Green. Have a wonderful day.